Hey guys, PW here once again, and today I'm just going to show you the simple trick of passing your audio and video through to your AV receiver. And keep in mind that most AV receivers from the box, or from the factory at least, are not going to be set to pass this through. A lot of the Pioneer Elites are just determined by whichever input you were last in. That's extremely convenient. I know my SC05, the 89, the 97, the 99, they all pass it through the last source you were using, which is extremely easy and convenient. But keep in mind, this is going to be relevant to the Marantz and the Denon receivers. And then for other receivers, it's going to be, maybe a little bit different, but very, very similar. I know at least it'll be in the video options. So I'm going to show you how to pass the video and audio through to your receiver. Not all the time do you want to have the surround sound receiver on or listening to the surround sound. Every once in a while, it's nice to just pass the audio and video through to the television and utilize the television's speakers and whatnot. And yeah, now also keep in mind another note that while the receiver is on, it is performing the upscaling and all that, and the video functions only when it's on. When it's in pass-through mode, you're going to get directly the video that you're seeing from whatever source you're using. And you can do it from any source. It doesn't have to just be one source. I could even be listening to a record and or listening to a CD through the receiver with it on, through all the speakers, and watching something else, either cable TV or any other source. As long as they're both going into the receiver, you can view something differently than you're hearing. Instead of watching the on-screen display, so, here, I'm going to hit display on my Sony remote real quick, and I'm going to show you that we're in 4K. Just watching a regular TV, cable TV source, we're in 4K. Some of the receivers are specific to have a 1080p source coming in, HDMI, specifically HDMI, in order to upscale the stuff to 4K. But the Marantz is different, so you don't have to have that. It can be any feed. But yeah, sometimes it's convenient to be able to do that. Now, before I turn the receiver off, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to go into setup really quickly. And this is the way you're going to do this. You're going to go into the video settings of your receiver. We're not going to go to picture adjust. We'll start at HDMI setup real quick, and we'll go all the way down to here. Video output's going to be where you're sending the output, so make sure that's on. But if you're watching something already connected to the receiver, that's already set accordingly. HDMI control you're going to want on. Audio return channel, you're going to want that on as well. Little pass talk, if you have the option. If you don't, it doesn't matter, you can still do this. HDMI pass through, that has to be turned on. If that's not on, it will not pass through the source. And it can do it other pass-throughs, because if I go into the last setting, or I'm sorry, the next setting, it'll actually ask you pass-through source, which one. But here, we're picking the pass-through source, and I can change it to DVD, and it won't have any it won't have any effect while the receiver's on, is what I'm trying to say. So I can back out of this, and what we're going to find, of course, it'll still be playing the audio and video, but when I turn the receiver off, it's going to jump to my other source. I've got a Blu-ray player, a Pioneer Elite Blu-ray player on right now, and as you can see, switching the audio to TV speakers. So we're passing through the audio and video right now from the Blue Disc player. I can do it once more. I can change it back to cable sat, but yeah, that's how you do it. So you just go into the video settings of your receiver, select which pass-through source, and there's a number of different settings you can change sometimes as to, the receiver to turn off after a while, but that's how you pass through a source on your receiver. As I said before, some people just don't like to use the surround sound receiver. They don't want to keep it hot. They don't want to have all that bass or something. Don't want to utilize all the speakers, and that's fine. So that's why you choose at times to just pass through sources to the receiver. And like I said, you can choose to pass through video sources through it while the receiver is actually on too. If you'd like to know that, ask, but it's pretty similar to how we just did this. Just went into the settings, the video settings, and I'll do this one more time for you. I'm just going to turn the receiver on real quick. And it's going to be in cable sat, so it's going to switch the input back into cable sat, switching audio to external speakers, of course. And as you can see here, it's going to go from 1080p So the TV was performing the upscaling when the cable feed is in. This is a 1080i. That's the highest resolution, the maximum resolution we're going to get from cable. But now if I hit display once again on my TV, we're going to notice that the receiver is performing the upscaling and putting everything to 4K. And I've shown you how to do that before. That's simple, but I can tell you if you'd like to know, just give me a comment and ask. But yeah, that's how you pass through a source on your receiver. Now I'll just go into setup one more time. Just make sure you got this down. If I go into output settings, we'll actually be able to change our scaler, our IP scaler, to which input we're using, resolution, 4K 6050 and all that and whatnot. So, but you're going to be in the HDMI setup, and you're going to want to go to pass-through source. I'm going to change it back to cable sat. You can choose any source you'd like. But to do the other thing that I'm talking about, to actually pass through video as you're listening to audio on a different source, what you're going to do is you're going to go to options. I've got an option button right here. You're going to hit options, and you're going to actually change it. Now, it won't let me do it now in this source, but if I go to, say I'm in phono right now, I'll go to phono, and I've got mine listed as turntable. I've just changed the input assignment, you know, the wording on it. And I'm going to go to option real quick, and video select is going to be what you're looking for. And I can have video select on cable sat. So when I'm listening to a record, I can be watching the television. Now, there's another way to do this, and I'll tell you that right now. If you're really dead set on listening and watching a source while being able to listen or watch a source through the receiver at the same time, the little trick is you've got to actually send a HDMI signal from your cable box or whatever source into your receiver. Then you've got your audio and video coming from the receiver. But if you want to go to a different source on the receiver and have audio playing, and you want to have audio and video coming from your TV, what you do is you actually take component or S-video or analog or any other way of doing video. There's really those three kind of out of a cable box, and send it directly to your TV. And then with a pair of either coax digital, optical, or left and right stereo RCA cables directly to the TV. So you're going to need two different types of video setups. You know, one HDMI going to the receiver, or you could do it vice versa. You could take analog RCA video composite and send it to the receiver, component send it to the receiver, and left and right analog RCA send it to the receiver, and do HDMI directly to your TV. That way it would allow you to watch and listen to TV while also listening to something on your receiver. But I prefer it the other way. I prefer, you know, the proper way of passing through a source either on the receiver and just hitting the option and going into video select, so we're able to watch TV as we are listening to a record or tape or CD or whatever. I'm going to turn it back off, and we're going to go back into the Marantz menu here, or see the on-screen display or graphical user interface, if you will. So that is how to pass through a source on your receiver. Now, if I just go over here, it'll be the component out we'll have selecting, but that's how you do it, guys. Output settings went away right now because there's no video. If I go back to cable sat, and we have a picture running through or a video signal running through the receiver, we'll hit setup again, go into video, and we'll see output settings there. So that's how you do it. If you'd like to know anything else, please let me know. Give me in the comments section. Thumbs up if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe, guys. Thank you, and I'll have a ton of stuff coming. New stuff, new items, new devices, new reviews, and a lot of fun stuff happening for Halloween. Thanks, guys.